Hello, everyone. In this section, we are going to talk about various other aspects of Cisco Unified Call Manager Administration. In the last section, we talked about the Cisco Unified CM administration, the main page that you log into. In this section, we're going to focus about serviceability, OS administration, and reporting. Because they are also part of the administration, but then they are something that you would not go on a daily basis as an administrator. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm gonna go to Cisco Unified Serviceability page and talk about it. We'll show you what all important things are here. So basically, Cisco Unified Serviceability is all about the services that are running on Cisco Unified Call Manager cluster primarily. Then you have got other features like traces. In order to troubleshoot any deep problem, you come over here, you configure the traces and find out what really happened on a particular call or in a conference, right? What went wrong, you can come down here and troubleshoot. You can take help of it later on. So let's talk about the serviceability settings right here. So generally, in order to activate different services, you come on Cisco Unified Communication Manager, Unified Serviceability option, which is right here under navigation section. You have got these all menu options. So the fourth from the top. And you do go and you come down here, right? And when you go to the tools section and you've got various options, the first one is service activation, and that's the place we want to explore in this one. So this section has got, this cluster has got 3 servers. The publisher is right here, and then you have got a subscriber for call manager perspective, and one Cisco IM and presence server as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the services that are there on the publisher server right now. So we selected from the drop down the publisher server. Now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at different sections under the services. Now you see CM services, which basically is like call manager service. And these are pretty much critically important, and they all have got significant, I would say, role to play in Cisco Unified Communication world. The Cisco Call Manager, this service is activated, right? And you can simply come ahead and check all services and save, and it would start pretty much all the services that you have. But for now, the first one has got CM services that we're talking, and in this Cisco Call Manager is pretty important. Then you have got other services, and Cisco TFTP is also one of the important service, which provides the configuration file to the endpoints, be it a soft phone like a Jabber client, or a hard phone like Cisco 7921 or 7947, whatever phone that you have. It provides the configuration file. Now, other services like you have got CTI manager is also important, like computer telephone integration manager, CTI devices, like anything which runs on computer like a Jabber IP telephony, IP communicator has to do with CTI. Then you have got your extension mobility. For instance, your users have to move from one location to another location, and they can just remember their extension and password, and they can pretty much be mobile. They go any other site, they could put their username and password and log in from there. So it's like they're carrying their profile everywhere they're going without the need of carrying the physical phone itself. There are other features as well, but for now, we can live with Cisco Call Manager, CTI Manager, Cisco TFTP, and so on. You can take a look at each of them. They're pretty much descriptive, but you would be utilizing many of them in your day-to-day life as an administrator. For instance, Cisco DNA is when you troubleshoot, right? Uh, when you troubleshoot the call flow, that how the call is actually being placed from device A to device B, and what route it's taking to go out to the end destination, which is device B. Now, the other sections like CTI services, CDR services, which is like call detail record, database and admin services, right, where you have got bulk provisioning and AXL to integrate with other servers, tabs. Then you have got the other section, performance and monitoring services, Cisco Serviceability Reporter, Cisco Call Manager SNMP services, and then you have got your security related services right here. So basically I've got Cisco Certificate Authority, Cisco Certificate Enrollment, and CTL Provider, directory services. Again, this one is in order for you to create directory services inside the call manager. Then you have got your location-based tracking services and so on. So from device directory services, security, performance, database and admin, CDR, call detail record, to CTI, and the main ones are categorized right here under CM services. So this is pretty much it about services that you need to take care on each server. Remember that you can come and uncheck and check any of the service here, right? And you have got all the control as an administrator. We're logged into Cisco Administrator, and we are on service activation page. So pretty much you can come down here, make sure that the critical ones are running. Otherwise, you may end up troubleshooting elsewhere where the actual problem lies in as simple as checking the services page here. So for instance, I just unchecked the option for Cisco Call Manager service here and then saved it. Now we're waiting for it to be applied, and we'll see that it's deactivated. Well, that's not something really desired in a cluster where you have got only 2 call manager servers to deactivate Cisco call manager service on one of them. But since it's a demo lab, I just wanted to show you that you could do it from here. So our Cisco call manager service is deactivated now, which is not really good, but I'm going to go ahead and activate it for now. After this, we can talk about different features. So this page here is basically something like it's either activated or deactivated, right? We also have got other page which relates to the services on Cisco Unified, serviceability part of it, which says, and if you go under tools under control center, feature services. So control center, feature services, right here, the second option, you can select any of the servers. At this time, let's go ahead and select the second server, which is subscriber. And let's see certificate exception. All right, so we'll have to troubleshoot this part later on, but let me go ahead and go to the publisher server for now and take a look at it. So now we are in control center feature services, right? And we are taking a look at the publisher server. Now, this is very different to what we saw on the service activation page. This page is for feature services, and it also has got similar category like CM services, directory services, performance and monitoring, CTI services, voice quality reporter services, database and admin, location-based tracking, security, and CDR. But you could see that it gives you a little more details about the services. For instance, our favorite one, Cisco Call Manager, it says that it started and it's activated right now. It's It's showcasing today's date, which is Sunday, November 15th, and this is the time. So it started from last 1 minute, less than a minute, because we just remember that we went on service activation and we deactivated. So that's what it's showing. So for other services, for instance, as well, you could see that CTI Manager is started and is in activated status from last 31 minutes. That's when we actually started our server. So this page you can come down and can start or restart any services if there is a need, right? So if you're if you think that Cisco Call Manager service is not performing well, and you got to restart, so you can come down here and can click on restart, and it's gonna restart the Cisco Call Manager service, right? Uh, and other services as well. So you have got, though the services are activated, it not necessarily mean that they are in in started mode. So there could be a possibility that there could be a service which may not be even running. So for instance, we just noticed that Cisco Certificate Enrollment Services is not running, right? So we can come down here and can say start. So our Cisco Call Manager services just got restarted from, and we could see that from last 7 seconds it has restarted. Now we have just clicked on the second service, which is Cisco Security, Cisco Certificate Enrollment Services. Now it's in starting mode. You can come down and can disable any service. For instance, you can just click on stop, and it would stop the service. So now we see services which are in started mode, which are in starting mode, and then we also have clicked on one of the service which was in started mode earlier, but now we wish to make it stopped. So we've applied for that as well. The whole purpose I'm doing it is to showcase that you have got the control over every services that we have here. So now we could see that Cisco bulk provisioning services is not running. Okay, now we can go ahead and let it also be running. So everything is, all the services in our cluster for now would be running. So all right, with control center feature services, you definitely would have a lot of time spent in your working times on unified communication infrastructure. So now let's go ahead and explore the other option, which is control center network services, and see what does this option has to offer for us. Now let's go ahead and go to the subscriber server. Let's see if it works for us. The last time we tried clicking on that gave us an error, and we are due to troubleshoot it. So never mind, let's go ahead and go to the publisher server. It's a brand new cluster, and I have not worked on it much, so I'll take a look at that. So now we are on other option, which says control center network services, and we have got other level of services running here, right? So again, there are categories from performance to platform to system, right? And then you have got database services, admin services, right? SOAP services, backup and restore, CDR, call manager services, security, and cloud-based management services. They are also important pretty much. If you do not have, uh, a service which is very critical to the system, if it's not running right, you're gonna be in trouble. So for instance, Cisco DB is very critical. So you can come down here and can notice if it's in running state or not, and can go from there. Some services you may not be able to stop from here. For instance, Cisco DB, you'll have to log into the command line interface, the CLI, in order to shut down this particular service. Uh, this is pretty much it about the network services, right? You can come down and explore And based on certain scenarios, we can come down and talk about it. But for now, it's just to give you an overview that this is also a very important place that you as an administrator are required to know. Uh, Now, let's go ahead and go to the other options that we have here under serviceability page. We have got our CDR management or CDR analysis and reporting. In short, it's also called as CAR, CDR. First initial is C, and then analysis and reporting has got A and R. So CAR, CAR. So you have got car option, and the URL for it, you would notice that it's the IP address of the server /car. Now this page is something that is very, very, you know, important for you as an administrator to know. There's a warning that we launched, and we got is that the following node CDR enable flag is not activated through call manager service is activated, hence no CDR will be generated. So for the publisher one, CDR enable flag is not activated. So we got to go to cluster wide parameter, and under call diagnostic enable flag, we got to make it a true. So it, it should work. Now, but this is the place where you come and basically look for the different type of calls or device registration or many things, right, based on which user made what type of call, right? How was the call quality, right? How much time the call stayed on the cluster, and so on. So you can come down here under CDR search, and then based on the phone of the end user and so on, you can pretty much can go ahead and check out if there were any if there was any call that was made. So based on the number, you can get a report in PDF. So there's no matching record that it says, because we just started our server, and we have not made even one call on this brand new server. And I'm not even sure if we have got a 1001 extension registered for now, but I really wanted to tell you about CDR car, right? So we came in here. So I'm going to go back to serviceability page and talk about different other options, because car in itself, CDR analysis and reporting, or call management record, call detail record, CDR, right, is in itself is a great topic, right? CDR management. So it's to do with absolutely with with the calls, their arrival, and so on. So you can come down here under CDR management and take a look at it. What's the kind of space utilization it has, and so on. There are other parameters that I really don't want to discuss it for now, but my main purpose was for you to take a look at the serviceability options and explore, right? The other important, I would say, item here is the trace, which is pretty important. And you as an administrator, like I said, will have to come down here in order to troubleshoot something pressing, to trace, make sure that the desired services are being traced so that you can read them and can come to a conclusion. So you have got Cisco Unified Call Manager selected for the publisher one, and then we selected the heart of all the services of Cisco Unified Communication Manager, which is CM services. Now we'll say Cisco Call Manager. There are other services as well and they all are there for different purposes, but we're assuming that we require a call trace for a SIP call. So we'll come down here and make sure that enable SIP call processing trace is checked, right? And things like, if in case this is an issue with SIP registration, we can go ahead and check this as well, right? If you have got an MGCP gateway, which is a type of protocol, Cisco proprietary, you can come here and enable them. If you've got SCCP related troubleshooting that needs to be done, any sort of, you can come down here, enable the relevant traces. So you can choose pretty much from different traces that are there in regards to Cisco Call Manager. And now this one here is the debug trace level. The highest on it is detailed, which gives you the most detailed step-by-step events that has happened on the cluster in terms of the service that you choose from here. And error is basically the least detailed one, least detailed, and detailed is the highest details that you get from it once you have it enabled. And if you have it detailed right, and you want the similar setting to be applied on all the nodes, it's going to apply it on not only on the publisher but on the subscriber server as well. So let's say we save it, right? And this way we're going to have our services and the type of trace level that we set on other services as well. So we set it from detail to error, and this is going to be applied on other server as well. But this is not going to be as important for you, so it's better that you put it on detailed mode, and that's how it would really help you out troubleshooting the problem. In case if you set the trace level to error, only errors will be reported, not the detail communication that has happened between the endpoints or gateways and so on. All right, so now we have got SNMP. You can configure the SNMP for monitoring purposes, right? Different versions, their community string, and the notification destination, and so on. Call home is in order for you to send reports to call manager in case something happens wrong, something wrong happens. And in case you want a call Cisco tag to know about it, you can come here and type the support email address, right? And send it to them, right? So this is I'm gonna contact them. But you need license and certificates and so on for this to be active. Right, so on this page, pretty much these two tabs are really, really critical, the trace and the tool tab here. So with this, I'll go ahead with the other different options like OS administration for now. I'm done with Cisco Unified Serviceability. Let's go ahead and explore Cisco Unified OS administration now. All right, so we are on Cisco Unified OS administration now, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the password here, my credential, what I remember. I'll put that in. Oops, this is a wrong credential, so let me put in the right credential for now. Just a second. All right, so I've logged in with my correct credential for Cisco Unified OS Administrator, and this is how it looks. Now, very important stuff down here, and this is going to definitely be helping you out in your day-to-day operations, and you may need to come down here quite often to know the details of the cluster, right, of the infrastructure overall. So you may be working with different other customers, or many other customers as one administrator. So you got to know about the architecture of their existing infrastructure. So this unified operating system administration, which in general people call OS administration, can talk about the number of servers that you have and their different roles. For instance, publisher, subscriber, and this guy here is IM and presence subscriber. Now the hardware, right? So you can come down here and take a look at how things are configured and allocated in terms of hardware that are being utilized here, and other options, network, software, system, and IP preferences. So I've clicked on hardware, waiting for it to come down so I could show it to you. All right, so the hardware status says that it's a VMware platform, and the serial number, the processor speed. The type of the processor is 2.2 gigahertz Intel Xeon processor. 4 gigs of RAM is allocated to this one, and number of hard disk is assigned as 150 gigs, one hard disk. Right, so it's a virtual environment that we know about this cluster, about this hardware on which this virtual machine is running on. Now, for network configuration, we know that the IP address of this server is 10.10.20.1, but other details like IP mask and the gateway, right, will be able to find it out. So you have got MTU 1500, the default one, the MAC address, the DNS details is this guy here, and the gateway here, and you have got the domain and so on. So you know pretty much, if you want to take a look at some infrastructural detail through GUI, this is the place you can come down here and can take a look at it. If you go to show and then software, right, it's going to display the detail about the software that are installed, the patch and exact details. So let's get ahead and take a look at what do we have right here. Okay, so it says that the active version is 12.5.1, right? This guy here. And then we have got the inactive version, right? Which is 12.0, which was the previous version, right? We also have got two software, I would say service updates or device packs that are installed, but right now they are in inactive mode. So the device pack 12.0 is for devices, for the firmwares and all, for the phones, right? So you could see that what all options do you have as in platform, right? Under active partition and under inactive partition. So I'm sure that as the name explains, it's pretty simple to understand that active version is the one which is running on the platform, and inactive version is the version which is there in the hard disk of the virtual machine, but it's not active. So generally what happens is Cisco came up with in order to decrease the time of upgradation, with an idea that you can have two partitions, one inactive and other active. So you do all the upgradation in inactive partition, and once you're done with that, you switch versions. So inactive becomes active and active becomes inactive. So the only downtime that you have will be during the time when you're actually switching version, and that'll become faster. So this really helps as in you and I as an administrator, that what we do is we upgrade our system to a greater version, and then during the downtime that we have taken from a customer, we come down that time and we switch versions. So during the off business hours, which is generally nighttime, it saves a lot of time for we as an administrator, right? We do not need to stay whole night during off business hours in order to upgrade and then activate the upgraded version. So this is a great tool of switching version that you can take a look from software option down here under show tab. Let's go and explore other options, for instance system maybe. So it's going to come down, load in a second, and here you go. The host name, the date, time zone, locale, product version, OS admin version, the OS version, the uptime of the server, right? And what's the CPU percentage looks like, idle, and how much system is being utilized, how much users are utilizing the CPU, and so on. How much memory is free, how much is in total, how much is used, how much disk is being utilized in active partition, how much disk is utilized in inactive partition, and for logging, right? So you could see pretty much everything in terms of its utilization and categorization. Uh, right, so now for the second option, right, you have got setting, Ethernet, IP and Ethernet, right? So it's going to talk about what IP you have got, what MAC address you have in particular. So things related to the IP address that are assigned. I'm just going to show you what detail do we have for this one here. So the host name, the FQDN, right, the IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway, that which we came here and we got to know about from the system, but you can come down here and can enable the DHCP or disable the DHCP. You can, make, it gives you an option to make changes from here. The show tab only allowed you to take a look at it, but this tab is now giving you various options. So IP and then publisher, let's see, what do we have here? This machine is the publisher, and therefore the IP address cannot be modified, right? So we are already on publisher server. We cannot do any changes here, so it says. Now, let's go ahead and explore other options. For instance, what do we have got as a network time protocol server, NTP server? And we see that we have got 10.10.10.1 as our NTP server. We can have added more server here with add new, and the current status of the existing one is accessible, though there is no authentication happening, but you can put in the IP address of your new NTP server and can add in here SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, and then you have got your time, your version, things like that. Even after installation, you can come down here and can make some changes. Since our cluster is integrated with NTP server, so it says this the time cannot be set because NTP is currently enabled. So it's pulling up the time from NTP server 10.10.10.1, and it does not really allow us to make any changes. If in case we want to make any changes in terms of timing, we'll have to go and make the changes on NTP in order to make it even more centralized, right? So under setting tab, the last option version, again, just like we went under show and then we went under software, it talked about the active inactive versions, right? Similarly, we have got the installed versions, which are two, one in inactive and the other in active partition, and we can just do switch versions that I talked earlier, and it can downgrade itself from 12.5, which is latest and greatest, to the previous version installed, which was 12.0. Right, we can restart, shut down, or switch version from this guy here, setting and versions. Then you have got security, and then you have got things like certificate management. You can come down here to take a look at what all certificates are installed, what are going to be, expiring soon or have already expired, right? Which are self-signed certificate, which are, CA-signed certificate, and so on. So we see that many of them are self-signed, and this guy here is CA-signed. So a third-party certificate authority, right, which gives a certificate to, make it more secure when someone from outside tries accessing our server, right, and so on. So this is where you can come and take a look at which one is being, which one is going to be expired soon or have already expired. So you can sort it out from expiration, can take a look and go from there. So we see a lot of servers being expired already, and we have got then the other certificates which are active as late as 2037, right? Certificate monitor, certificate revocation, IPsec configuration. So this is all related to the security and certificates. Now, this guy here, software upgrades, is an important part. So just to take an overview, right, this is the place where you can come and do an install upgrade, and you can upload the new version of Call Manager over here and can go from there. So all you need to do is point your Call Manager server to the file that is the upgrade file. So the Call Manager server pulls all the upgradation file down to its disk and then install it in inactive partition. And then you could do, once the upgradation is done, you can go ahead and do the installation in inactive partition and then finally do switchover. Okay, so software installation and upgrade, we have got various options here: DVD, CD, remote file system, and local file system. So for you have got DVD, CD, right? Through which what you could do is put the CD, DVD in the hardware itself, in the CD-ROM drive or DVD-ROM drive, install on the physical server itself and mount that on the virtual machine. So it would detect, though there is no DVD CD loaded, so we do not see any options here, right? If we had any, CD DVD installed here and we would have clicked next, it would show us that, okay, this is the version which is already there in the CD drive of the server. And we can, we could have chosen the file that we want to install on it and proceed from there. So there are other options as well, like remote file system, where you can choose the transfer protocol. You may have set up an SFTP. There are many third-party SFTP servers that are there, TFTPD 32, and many other, right? So you can pretty much come down there and select those options. So we selected DVD CD and did a next, and it says that unable to mount the local file system. This could be caused by a corrupt ISO, for example, if TPing the ISO file to the server, and so on. So we know already that we do not have any files down there. So there is one which exists under UC install UCS ops invalid, but this is saying that it's invalid because we already are on 12.5 version, right? Now, what I was talking about is remote file system, and you can talk about the IP address of the remote file server, and then username, password, the protocol, right, and so on. The directory, if it's default, just a backslash would work. And then you would do next, and it's gonna pick it up from there. And you can go next and do the upgrade. Since you're not doing it right, it's I just wanted to showcase, right? TFTP, file management, device load management, and so on. So there are so many things that are here, right, for you to explore for Cisco Unified Operating System option. So we've come down here under TFTP file management. We see all the files that are here, close to 1,560 files, different locales, different tones that are there for Cisco Unified Communication Manager to work. So at max, it can show 250 rows per page, and then you'll have to go down and you'll have to go to the next page, right? But this is just a trick in case you want to make it all in one page, right? All 1560 page in one this on this one page. You could do is go to this URL where you see 250. After selecting 250 from here, you would see it appears as 250. If you do 1560, the exact number of results that you want on this page to be displayed, you just do it, and it's gonna load it all on one single page. It's just a trick. You could do it anywhere on the Call Manager server, right? So this is pretty much it about Call Manager OS administration page that I wanted to take a look and explore. So based on the number of results, it's going to take the time. So now you see that all 1,560 records are loaded once we put this number 1560 in the URL bar. There you go. And then you do not need to go to the next page or anywhere. You have got all the data right here. Okay, so you have got almost everything covered up here. Yeah, this one is important that I really want you to take a look. So in case you want to do a ping to other devices, right, you can come down to the OS administration page, and this is going to help you pinging other server, right, from your call manager. All right, so I'm going to say 10.10.10.1. And I'm going to say ping intel 1, ping integration 5 is just fine. And then do say go. Now, very well. We're receiving replies. So we transmitted 5 packets, we received 5 packets, 0% loss, and we see the time to live and so on, the response that we got. So this is a very important feature on the OS administration page. You can come down here, services, do a ping, and can go from there. This is pretty much it. The remote support option is all right. Let's talk a bit about it. So this one here is you can create an account for Cisco TAC. Sometimes they need remote access of the root of the Cisco Unified Communication Manager, the root account, the most detailed one, right? For troubleshooting. So you can come down here, go to services and go to remote support and just type in the account's name and create it for them and copy this all, or just do a copy and send it to Cisco TAC in the email. And based on this passphrase and this account name, they'll create a separate credential for this cluster, and then they will be able to log into the root account of this operating system, which is running on Linux. And they have got much more access and much more control. They can pretty much do anything. It gives them the leverage of controlling the system much more with more power, right? All right, so I think we are good in terms of OS administration. Let's go ahead and talk about it, the other part of it. All right, I've just done SSH to the server. You can do that with PuTTY, and you can put in the credentials like might and then do an open. It'll ask you the username and password. For me, it's admin, so you would know it, right? And you could do pretty much the CLI part of the Cisco Unified Communication Manager. So let's talk about various options right here. Like we could do, for instance, show account, show disk usage, show date, and show media, show myself, show network, and so on. So let's do show date, and it's here, right? So show, and then let's do a question mark. It'll give you much more options than it gave the next time. So, right. So let's say this time we want to do it show status, right? So it's gonna give us more detail about the system name, the date, the time zone, the product version, the uptime, and so on, what we used to get on show system through GUI. Similarly, we could do other stuff, right? Like show hardware, right? And with all the asterisk one, that's something that requires more, there are more part of the instruction that you would need to provide. So this one here is able to fetch all the details of this particular system. So we are accessing the CLI, right? Now let me do the next important thing, which is utils command. So I'm gonna do utils system restart, right? And then I would do a question mark. So this is gonna do restart my server, or if I want to do shutdown, and if I do a question mark, it would say, okay, no parameters are required, and this is the syntax. If I hit enter, it would say, do you want to do it? Really? I would say, no, I just want to test the command. You can also come down here and can find util service list, and it's going to give you all the services which are running on the system right now. So I did Cisco util services, and it fetched out for me all the services which are there. Remember that we were doing in one of the sessions we were trying to restart a Cisco DB, this guy here, but we were not able to do it, and it said that you would like to do it from CLI. So this is the place, CLI, where we can restart pretty much any service, from call manager to Tomcat, pretty much anything, right? So let me give you uh, an instance here. Once we are here, sometimes what happens is that the GUI is not accessible, and what we want to do is we want to restart the Cisco Tomcat service. So all you need to do is just copy like this, highlight it here, just a normal uh, feature in the CLI that you have in SSH, and hit enter, and it's going to restart the Cisco Tomcat service. Uh, so remember that sometimes the web isn't working, and Cisco Tomcat is a service which is there for Cisco Call Manager to provide the web-based interface. So you can come down here in the CLI, take a look at Cisco util service status, and it's going to show you if the service is started or stopped. And in case it's stopped, you can restart it, or you can start it, or in case it's stuck, you could also give it a try to restart the Cisco Tomcat service, and to see if the GUI has started to work, right? So as an engineer, we like this black and white screen pretty much. Uh, so you could do a lot of stuff here as well in terms of in terms of administration of Cisco Unified Communication Manager. Uh, so let's wait for some time for this service to start. Um, but having said that, all I wanted you to take a look at is this is also the place in case GUI is not accessible, and you want to do something right from the GUI, from the CLI. You can pretty much come down here and can do a lot of stuff. For instance, you logged out on your um, password, right? And you do not know what it is. So you can come down here, can run this command, and it's going to ask you the new password followed by confirming the same new password, and so on. So you could do it from here as well. So this is your CLI page for Cisco Unified Communication Manager. So, all right, we talked about CLI, we talked about general administration, we talked about Cisco Unified Serviceability, the traces, the troubleshooting, the service activation, service restarting from CLI, from GUI both. And then we also talked about the black and white beautiful screen that as an engineer we like the most. Um, so with this, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this session, and see you in the next session. Thank you and good luck.